All right, let's go to question 3. I think I'll skip the graphing of this one, just go to question 4. Once again, you can watch the video that I have posted there. Here, we have to solve for x. And if you remember how we did these, the exponents, the bases have to be the same, and then the powers equal each other. So I'm going to bring this 9 to the top. When you flip this, I end up 1 over 9 is 9 over 1, or 9. You have to add a negative to the power when you flip something. And then 729. If I try to do something 9 raised to the 3rd power, I get 729. Do you see 729 is 9 to the 3rd power? So by having 1 over 9, you can flip it by putting a negative up here. Now you have a base of 9. 729 is 9 to the 3rd power. Since the bases equal each other, then the tops, negative x equals 3. Negative x equals 3. The top, if the bases equal each other, then the tops equal each other. Negative x equals 3. I need to get the x to the other side by dividing by a -1. And x equals a -3. That's the answer to 4. And you can try it. Put a -3 in here with a parentheses, and you'll see you'll get 79. On the next one, we have a power of 4. And 256, if I bring the 256, if I flip it, then I have a power of -1, because right now it has an invisible power of 1. But if you flip it, then that power has a negative. And if you check it on your calculator, 256 is 4 to the 4th power. And so 4 to the 4th power and a -1, this becomes, I'll bring it over here, x to the negative x equals 4 to the -4. Power raised to a power, you can multiply those two together. So, oh, this is not an x, this is a 4. And this is the x. So the bases are the same. So negative x equals -4. So the tops have to equal each other. As soon as you get the bases the same, then the tops can equal each other. Divide by a -1 again, and x equals 4. That's my answer for number 5. Everybody okay with these? Remember we talked about in the past, if the powers, if the bases have to be the same, then the powers equal. If the powers equal, then you got to try to, then the bases have to equal. And I think we have an example like that coming up. So this is 4 raised to the 8 minus 2x. 256 is 4 to the 4th power. You can try it, verify it, yes. Now, since the bases are the same, then the tops equal. 8 minus 2x equals 4. If the bases are the same, then the tops have to equal. Take the 8 to the other side. It's a positive 8. We're going to subtract 8. Negative 2x equals -4. Then divide by -2. And x equals -4 divided by -2 is a positive 2. This is the answer to number 6. So all we're doing is solving for x for these problems. Trying to get the bases the same, then the tops equal. If the tops equal, then you need to say the bottoms, the bases have to equal. Once again, 9 and 27. I look at 9 and 27, and 9 is 3 squared. 27 is 3 to the third power. You see 3 squared, but there's still a power of 6 plus 3x there. So this is 3 to the power of 2 with a power of 6 plus 3x on the top. 1 over 27 is 3 to the third power. But since we flipped the 27 to the top, you have to put a negative there. That negative says flip it. So the base is equal. That means the tops have to equal 2 parentheses 6 plus 3x has to equal a negative 3. Distribute 12 plus 6x equals negative 3. Get the 12 to the other side by subtracting 12, subtracting 12. Negative 15, and then divide by 6, divide by 6. X equals negative 15 over 6, which reduces to negative 5 over 2. There's the answer to number 7. So you got to get the bases the same, then the tops equal each other. Since we come back from spring break, everybody seems like they're dead. We still have 3 good solid weeks of class left. Don't slow down. Keep going. Keep swimming. Keep swimming. Number 8. I've got to figure out how I can get 8 and 16 as the same base. 4 squared is 16, but you can't get an 8. So I see it. 8 is 2 to the third power. Then it has 2x minus 1. 16 is 2 to the fourth power. Then it has 3x plus 4. So I have the bases the same. So that means the tops equal each other. 3, 2x plus 1. Oh, it's minus 1. Equals 4 parentheses 3x plus 4. Distribute, and I get 6x minus 3. Distribute here, and I get 12x plus 16. Get all the, and now we're just solving for x, stuff that we've learned in the past. Get all the x's to one side using add or subtract. So I have to subtract 6x, subtract 6x. And I'm left with negative 3 equals 12 minus 6 is 6x. I need to take the 6 over and the 16. You always take the add or subtract over to the other side first. And then divide by 6. And there's our answer. X equals negative 19 over 6. This looks like a weird answer. I might have made a mistake somewhere. 2 to the third, 6x plus 3, 6x minus 3, yes. 2 to the fourth, 12x plus 16. That looks correct. No. Yes, no, it does look correct. All right, that's it. Mm-hmm. Then there's a couple of financial formulas we need. Compounded quarterly. So we need to know what compounded means, and then we need the compound formula. Compound is your bank adding interest to your money. Every time you compound interest, you're adding money into your account. The bank gives you money. They calculate how much they owe you, and then they put it in there. Okay, so compound, there's different things we can compound. If you compound annually, n equals 1, you do that once a year. Semi-annual, n is 2, twice a year. Monthly, wait, I forgot, quarterly. Quarterly. N equals 4. There are 4 quarters in a year. Monthly. N equals 12. Weekly. N equals 52. And then daily, we use 360. It's called banker's number. 360. Instead of 365 or 364 or whatever you want to use, we use 360. So these are how often a place will compound it. And this tells you what n equals. So I'm going to write down the compound formula now. The compound formula is the future value equals the present value times 1 plus r over n raised to the power of nt. Okay, t is always in years. N is the number of times compounded, and r is the interest rate. We're talking about the interest rate in percent. Okay, so this is the formula. It says if we invest $1,972, that's how much you have right now present you're putting in the bank. That's $1,972. The interest rate is 4%. N is the number of compounded quarterly means n is 4. Raise it to the power, n is 4 times the number of years, which is 12 years. And then we put this into our calculator. This is the hardest thing. Can you put this into your calculator and get an answer? 1972 parentheses 1 plus the fraction 4. Make sure you use the percent symbol, which is right over the first parentheses. 4% over 4. Close the parentheses and raise it to the power with a new parentheses, 4 times 12. And when I do this, I get 3179.31. You usually take money to 2 decimal places because it's the cents, unless they tell you different. So if I put $1,972 in the bank and I get 4% interest, 12 years later, I have $3,100 in the bank. All right. Question 10. Same formula. Future value equals present value times 1 plus r over n raised to the power of n times t. It says how much should be invested for 4 years at 3% compounded monthly to grow to 11,000. Well, grow to the 11,000 it's going to grow to 11,000. That's the future value. That's how much it will be in the future. We're looking for the present value. The interest rate is 3%. N compounded monthly, N equals 12. There are 12 months in a year. 12 times the number of years is 4. Okay, so we're trying to find the present value. I need to take that whole other thing to the other side. It's multiplying, so I'm going to divide it by 1 plus 3% over 12. Raise it to the power of 12 times 4. So this is what I'm going to put into my calculator to find the present value. I just took that whole thing and divided it both sides by that, right? I divided this side by this whole thing also, and it canceled. So PV equals that. So it's not easy. Once again, you have to type it into your calculator correctly. Fraction, 11,000 on top, on bottom, parentheses, 1 plus another fraction. And I can't even read what I wrote. That's 3%. 3 with a percent symbol over 12. Close that. Raise it to a power of 12 times 4. Close the parentheses, and we're done. Hit enter. And so the present value then equals 9757.585. If we go 2 decimal places, 9757.59. So if you want $11,000 in 4 years from now, you had to put $9,757.59 in the bank, and it will grow. Number 11, we're not doing, I didn't see one in the homework, and I don't think there won't be one on the test. But I do want to do number 12. This is different. It's a different formula. So compounded monthly, compounded quarterly, compounded yearly, it tells you use the compound interest. However, when it says compounded continuously, you have to use a different formula. Continuous uses the formula E. So future value equals the present value times present value times R. That's not times R. It's times E. I just like P instead of PV. Times E to the RT power. So this is the formula when we use continuous compounding. Continuous compounding. The present value, suppose you put $4,000 in the bank. The interest rate is 7%, and the time in years is 3 years. So let's put this in our calculator, and it'll tell you how much you'll have 3 years from now in the future. You started with 4,000. So I'm going to put 4,000 times, and now you got to do the E. The E is right above the LN on your calculator. The E is right above the LN. On the far left, the third one, the second one below the second button. Second LN, which gives me an E, parentheses, 7% times 3. And when I put that into my calculator, I get 4934.71. This is how much you'll have in the future. If you put $4,000 in the bank, 3 years from now, you have 4,900. All right, those are all the formulas you need for this. Let's go take a look at the homework. I think we did everything we needed. Yes. So 4.2 homework. Here we have a function. I hope you can see it. It's kind of small. Let me see if I can make it bigger. I don't think I can. It's not letting me. There's got to be a way to make it bigger now. I thought there was a way. Anyway, f of, oh, now that messed it up. F, that really messed it up. I messed something up. I don't know what I did. Oh, no. Please. I've done this before. Oh, there it is. I see it. Okay. So this is the oh, now I'm too thin. Come on. There we go. Okay, so this is the problem. And we want to know what f of 2 equals. In other words, we're just plugging 2 into the x. And the answer is 4 to the second power is 16. 4 times 4. Here you're just plugging -4 into the formula. The function is this. And we're plugging -4 into it. And when you do this on your calculator, you should get 1 over 16. 2 to the -4 power is 1 over 16. So make sure you're able to do these on your calculator. Here it's 1/3 and to the x power, but we're plugging 4 into it. And when you put 1/3 to the 4th power, you get 1 over 81. 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 is 27 times 3 is 81. Number 4. Same thing. We're plugging 4/3 in there. So this is just putting things in your calculator. How come we didn't have any of these in the workbook? So we're putting that into the x, 1/8 to the 4/3 power. I will have to put that into my calculator, but I think the answer's 1 over 16. Let's try it. 1/8 fraction 1 over 8. And then I'm going to raise it to a power. You always put your powers in parentheses, putting it a power, a fraction power, 4 over 3, close that parentheses, and I get 1 over 16. So does anybody need me to type this into my, show you how to type that in your calculator? 1 over 8. Then the raise it to a power, put a parentheses, and then a fraction 4/3. And you get 1 over 16 as your answer. I don't know what I just did. Oh, I didn't type the answer. Okay, now they want you to graph, which is okay. So the easiest way, I think, is just plug some x's in. If x is 1, 6 to the negative 1 power, do you see? It's negative x. 6 to the negative 1 power is 1/6. If I put a 2 in here, 6 to the negative 2 power is 1 over 36. What if I put 0 in there, 6 to the negative 0 power, which is 6 to the 0 power, which is 1, and then try a negative 1. 6 to the negative 1, negative changes to a positive, so this is 6 to the 1 power, 6 to the 1 power, which is 6. So let's see where negative 1 equals 6. Negative 1 does not equal 6. This can't be the answer. Negative 1 does equal 6. It's up here. Negative 1 does not equal 6. Negative 1 does not equal 6. This, the one I haven't crossed out, is the only one that looks like it's the answer. And we got it right. So you just plug some numbers in, put a t-table, and see if you can match it with one of the questions that are, one of the pictures that are there already. They all fall on 0, 1, so that, I mean, that wouldn't have helped us any. I just saw negative 1, 6 and looking for that. All right, then we're going to go solving again, just like we were doing in the workbook. 25x equals 5. 25 is 5 squared, and it still has a power of x. 5 has a power of 1. So the base is equal, so then 2x has to equal 1. 2x has to equal 1, divide by 2. And x equals 1/2. That's the answer. Once the bases are the same, then the powers have to equal each other. You have to try to make the bases the same. And the answer is 1/2. Okay. The bases are the same here. Here's a problem. E to the 8x minus 1 equals e to the 6 raised to the x. So the bases are the same. That means the tops equal each other. 8x minus 1 equals 6 times x. 6x right there. That's 6 times x. I'm going to take the 6x to the other side by adding and subtracting. You got to get all the x's to one side. So I'm going to minus 6 x. I'm left with 2x minus 1 equals 0. So I need to take the 1 to the other side and the 2. You always take the add and subtract to the other side first. So you add 1, and then divide by 2. X equals 1/2. And that's what we got. All righty. Number 8 looks hard. It's not, though. I mean, 81 to the 4x equals 27 to the x plus 3. The hardest part is try to make these bases the same. Well, you have to realize that 81 is 4 to the 4th power. It's not 4 to the 4th power. 81 is 3 to the 4th power. And then we have a 4x attached to it. 27 is 3 to the 3rd power. And then we have an x plus 3 attached to it. The bases are the same. So now I have these two, 4 times 4x. I'm going to put it down here. 4 times 4x equals 3 times x plus 3. 4 times 4x is 16x. Here I have to distribute 3x plus 9. So I have 16x equals 3x plus 9. Get the 3 to the other side by subtracting 3x. Now take the 13 to the other side by dividing. We're just solving here. And x equals 9 over 13. Seems like a weird answer. Let's see if it's right. Let's see if I can type it in correctly. 9 over 13. And it's right. (81) and 27, they're both, you can both use powers of 3 to build them up. 81 is 3 to the 4th power, and 27 is 3 to the 3rd power. Okay. All right, so here's the money again. Find the future value and the interest earned. If 87 is invested for 7 years, so remember future value equals present value. 1 plus r over n raised to the nt power. So part A is semi-annual, n equals 2, twice a year. So the present value is 8704.56. The interest rate is 6%. N equals 2. Semi-annual. Raise it to the power of n, which is 2, and the number of years is 7. So this is the future value. You just have to be able to put that into your calculator and do the math correctly. 8704.56 times parentheses. I'm not even going to hit times, just parentheses. 1 plus the fraction. 6% on top. You have to have the percent symbol in there. And 2 on the bottom. Arrow over, close the parentheses, raise it to a power of 2 times 7. And when I hit enter, I get 13166.428. It says rounded to the nearest hundredth, which is pennies, cents. So 13166.43. Let's see if that's it. 13166.43. And I got it wrong, which is not unusual for me. Let's see. T is 7, 6%. I'm sure I just typed it in wrong. 1316. Oh, I didn't put a decimal. I put all kinds of weird numbers. Look at this thing. Point. See how blind I am? Okay, let's try this one now. Let's see if this is correct. All right, we're okay now. So then it says the interest earned is approximately, well, do you see, this is how much, Find the future value and the interest earned on investment. You put this much in the bank, then at the end of 7 years, the bank gives you 13,000. You put 8,700, but the bank gives you 13,000. The extra money is the interest. So to find the interest earned, you just write down the new amount that you have, 13,000, and subtract your starting point, 8704.56. Subtract those two, and that's the extra money. It's called the interest the bank gives you for borrowing, letting them have your money. So if you have a ton of money in the banks love that, because then they can give more loans to people, and they earn interest. You earn a little bit of interest, they get more. But you do get some of that interest. And so how much interest did you earn? Subtract those two and then put that number in there. I might as well do it because I want to do the next part to this. 13166.43 minus 8704.56. So the interest earned is 4761.87 when I put this in my calculator. And I did something wrong. 13. Oh, I typed in the wrong number again. Oh my. 13,166.43 minus 8704.56. And I get 4461. There's the correct answer. Now I want to do the next one because it's continuous compound. As soon as you see compounded continuous, you have to use the other formula. Future value equals present value times E raised to the RT. This is the continuous compound formula. So once again, we're putting 8704.56. We're going to multiply it times E to the RT. R is 6% and T is 7 years. So this is what we put in the calculator, including the E. Remember, the E button is right above the LN, 2 buttons below the second button, the second green button. So I'm going to type in 8704.56 times, then hit second natural log, which is the E button. The E puts it in a power, put it in parentheses, 6% times 7. Close your parentheses. And I get, when I type this into my calculator, I get 13248.01 if I round it to 2 decimal places, because I get 0.005, which rounds it to 0.01. And that's the answer. And the interest earned, you just subtract the two. I'm not going to do that. And they have another one of those. Find the present value. And then they have another one of those. All right, so I guess I'm going to do this number 10, and this will be our last one. Number 10 will be our last one. I'm not too worried about number 8. You can try that one out. You just have to do it 2 or 3 times. They have you do it a couple times. Present value, that's not the formula. Future value. Present times 1 plus R over N raised to the NT power. We're going to put $1,000. Wait, find the present value if the value will grow to 1,000. So future is 1,000. We're trying to find the present value. The interest rate is 9.5%. Compounded quarterly, so n equals 4. N is 4 times 10 years. Remember, we're going to take all of this over to the other side by dividing. So it's 1,000 divided by 1 plus 9.5% over 4. Raise it to the power of 4 times 10. So this is what I'm putting into my calculator. Fraction 1,000 on top. 1 plus 9.5% over 4. Arrow over, close the parentheses, raise the power, and the power is 4 times 10. Parentheses 4 times 10. I mean, you could just put 40 if you wanted to. And the answer is 391.06. So if I put $391 in the bank at 9.5% interest, 10 years from now, I'll have $1,000. 391.06. All right. So that is section 4.2. It didn't look difficult, but if you don't practice these problems, it's going to be difficult. You have to have those formulas on a piece of paper next to you, and maybe examples next to you. A couple of people told me, well, I didn't have enough time on the test. It's multiple choice. So you have to have some kind of notes in front of you to know how to do the problems. I mean, a couple of people did poorly. A couple of people did okay. Most people did, on the last test, most people did around the C average. So it looks like people's grades are dropping a little bit. And honestly, this happens after spring break. Every spring, people don't, it's hard. I mentioned this week 1. It's hard to keep your intensity up in this math class for 16 weeks. We have 3 weeks left. I'd say, hey, finish strong. Make sure you do well on this last test. And get ready for this makeup test. And so you can do better on that. If you just take the makeup test, you're not going to do any better. You have to study for it. You have to have notes in hand that are organized. Look at the old test. The new test will look, the makeup test will be similar. I mean, if you're going to take test 1, look at the first test 1 that you didn't do well in. And I promise you the next test will look similar. The numbers will be different, but the problems are about the same. I think the problems are the same. The numbers are just different. So you have to know how to do each of those problems. If you say, oh, I don't know how to do this one, I won't worry about it. That's not, you need to know how to do each one, especially when you take that makeup test. You want to do well. So we're in week 13. Next week is week 14. Week 15, we take test 5. We take the makeup test, and there's a video on the final exam review. I won't have a final exam review session because I have that reviews in a video already, but I'll always be here during class time or office hours to answer any questions. If anybody needs any help other than that, email me and I'll find some time to help you out. You guys have a good day. I'll see you on Thursday. Finish this homework assignment. We still have, we have almost 2 hours of class, 1 hour and 45 minutes of class left. Finish this homework assignment. Watch that video that I had posted in week 13 on 4.2. you watch me do this. Now watch that video, and maybe it even like turn on more lights. And then you should be able to watch that video and then do the homework, and you should be able to finish it today. If you don't do that, you're wasting the class time. Normally, if we were in a classroom setting, I would have you log into the homework right now, and I'd be going around and helping people with different questions and all. That's what I normally do when I sit here. Some people come in and ask for help. Most of you don't. So if you have questions, make sure you ask them. All right, I'll see you guys on Thursday. I'll hang around for questions. You guys have a good day. Bye, all.
So I got one question.
Sure.
Well, it's not a question, my bad. So I kind of start my new job Thursday, and they asked me to go